5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
This is About Space, America's return to space, with news and information on our U.S. space program. Is your host of About Space, David Denault.
Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. Well, if you're living along the Gulf Coast of the United States, the Caribbean, and in South America, I don't know if you've noticed unusual, dazzling orange sunsets in the past few days. Some scientists say gigantic dust clouds are just part of a system that feeds the oceans, fertilizes the rainforest, and suppresses hurricanes. But on the ground, this current dust cloud has been dubbed Godzilla, and it's wreaking havoc with air quality alerts for millions of Americans. More on this unique phenomenon next on About Space Today. About Space invites you to join our Come and See launch of Boeing's Starliner orbital flight test July the 30th, and you can watch the launch from your balcony at the Best Western Hotel on Cocoa Beach. Stay Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night for just $215 per person, taxes included. That's $215 per person for 4 days and 3 nights at the Best Western on Cocoa Beach, and just minutes from the Kennedy Space Center and walking distance to the pier. And your launch package includes a full breakfast daily and 2 tickets to the Space Center. Now, this is an exclusive promotion for About Space Today by calling 877-747-8631. That's 877-747-8631. This is a limited time promotion, so book early and come on down to see a space launch. Welcome back. The Saharan dust storm is part of a regular meteorological phenomena that sends dust from the Sahara Desert to the Gulf Coast of the United States, the Caribbean, and South America. So what effect does this have on observing our skies and beyond? Remember, NASA has a contract with SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, for planetary protection for another 4 years. Well, joining me today from the campus of Seminole State College in Sanford, Florida, is Derek Demeter, Planetarium Director of the Emil Buehler Planetarium. Derek, what havoc is this Godzilla dust storm having on our observation capabilities?
Yeah, so usually every year around this time of year, we get these massive dust storms that come off the Sahara Desert. They follow the trade winds and blow all over the place. And this one is a little bit bigger than usual. And because there's more excess dust, this actually disrupts our what we call transparency in astronomy. So we astronomers want nice, crisp, clear skies, obscured from any particles in the atmosphere, dust, smog, water, whatever the case may be. And of course, this dust, if you will, basically blocks a lot of those nice, transparent skies. So this does affect our ability to get nice, crystal clear viewing opportunities.
Well, do these dust storms pose a danger in what we can't see?
So usually, these storms are basically just suspended sand in the atmosphere. And, in the case of certain areas, there might be issues where, if it's in high concentration, it might affect somebody with, respiratory issues like asthma and things like that. Sometimes the dust actually does drop down from the atmosphere and lands in, cars and, buildings and things like that. And it does get a little of a nuisance, but as far as overall health is concerned, it doesn't really pose much of a threat to us, thankfully. But actually, interestingly, what I find most fascinating about these dust storms is it's actually the Sahara dust and sand actually helps fertilize, if you will, the Amazon basin. Actually, the sands from all the way from Africa that are very nutrient rich actually land in the Amazon basin. And if we didn't have that, we actually wouldn't have a lot of fertile grounds in places like the Amazon and other areas of the world. And so what happens is that because of that, it allows for this lush rainforest to grow, which of course helps with things like sequestering carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. So the world overall has this dynamic cycle of bringing things from one place to the other and helping kind of keep our planet in check.
Well, astronomers on land now will have, if they're in this dust region of the Gulf states, for example, in the Caribbean and South America, I mean, they're not going to be able to see very much.
Yeah, exactly. For example, to give you an analogy, a couple of weeks ago, I was actually in Colorado, and they were experiencing some pretty bad fires. And just like with the Saharan dust, the fires, smog and smoke from the fires, again, reduced that transparency, made it very difficult for me to see the Milky Way. I was in a place that was 10,000 feet above sea level in a very dark area, what would be considered some of the darkest places in the United States. And it looked like I was in a place just, maybe 100 miles from a major city where it's still dark, but not dark enough. And so if you're in a place that's affected by these sandstorms and all this Saharan dust that's blowing into the atmosphere, that's going to basically drop your ability to see things. So if you have, if you're an amateur astronomer, if you're a professional astronomer, and you want to look up into the sky on a nice crystal clear night, if that dust is up there, then it's going to really affect your ability to see a lot of detail in the night sky.
So this really doesn't pose any problem for the folks that have radio telescopes.
Thankfully, radio telescopes are great for any place. In fact, actually, many of the larger radio telescopes, like Green Bank, for example, sits in a very rainy environment, and it could pierce through clouds. So radio astronomy really isn't affected by any of these things, which makes it a very valuable resource for astronomers. And of course, the Hubble Space Telescope, which is back online finally, and other space telescopes, that's the benefit of being in space, is you don't have to worry about the atmosphere. Thankfully, big telescopes today can deal with the issues of atmospheric effects. But being above the atmosphere is really where you want to be, because no matter what, whether it be fluctuations in the atmosphere, dust, smog, smoke, whatever the case may be, you don't have to worry about that.
So are you excited about the James Webb Telescope?
Absolutely, yes. In fact, I'm hoping to make my way, keep my fingers crossed, down to French Guiana to see the launch. It was supposed to be scheduled on Halloween, but it's been delayed again. But when James Webb finally makes its way into space in one of the Lagrange points of Earth, basically a place where it can basically be stabilized in this fixed location, kind of off in the distance between the Earth and the Moon, it will open our eyes with a lot of discoveries regarding exoplanets and structures in our Milky Way galaxy that we can't normally see in visible light. It's really going to change how we see things in our universe. So yes, it's going to be amazing. I'm been waiting a long time for it, but hopefully it will be going up very, very soon.
Planetarium has been closed, but you have some good news.
Yes, unfortunately, COVID has essentially knocked us down physically, but we have been very busy doing online programs. We've actually are taking a break right now. We're doing some upgrades to our hardware. We're just basically taking a time to get the planetarium ready to go for reopening in September. Really, really excited about after Labor Day weekend, reopening the planetarium on our weekend nights, Fridays and Saturday nights, on select Fridays and Saturdays. So you can come on out and you can enjoy a program. We're also going to be starting back up our in-person outreach observing events. We have these big star parties that we set up throughout the year where we bring up telescopes. We have other kinds of programs associated with it. So I'm very, very excited to get back to these programs and bring the universe to our community at large beyond Central Florida, really.
Well, tell everyone exactly now where you're located and how would they get to your planetarium?
Yeah, so we're located at the Seminole State College of Florida, Sanford, Lake Mary campus. So we're just north of Orlando, Florida, about 13 miles north, right off of Interstate 4. just a few miles east of Interstate 4 on Lake Mary Boulevard. All you have to do, best way I usually tell people to do it is if you type in Emil Buehler Planetarium in Google Maps, this will pin you to the exact location of the planetarium on the campus, and it will give you exact instructions on how to drive over to the planetarium. And again, we're located just north of Orlando in the town of Sanford. We're fairly centrally located in Florida, so if you're staying in the Disney World area, we're within an hour drive.
Well, Derek, thank you so much for joining us to talk about this Godzilla dust storm. And as we get closer, we want to join you and maybe in the opening there of the planetarium.
Absolutely, David. We'd love to have you out, and we look forward to opening our doors again.
Derek Demeter, Astronomer and Planetarium Director of the Emil Buehler Planetarium on the campus of Seminole State College in Sanford, Florida. This has been a special report, Godzilla the Dust Storm, and be sure to follow local health advisories in your area. Join me next Tuesday as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 15 moon mission. And to all our friends and listeners around the globe and here in the U.S., thank you for listening. I'm David Denault, and this has been About Space Today.